Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I do hope you guys are having a really good day today. We are going to be reading the Wikipedia page for Fable 2, the video game, which actually came out in 2008. Let's get started. Fable 2 is a 2008 action-playing open-world video game developed by Lionhead Studios and published by Microsoft Game Studios for the Xbox 360. The game is the second installment in the Fable game series and the sequel to 2004's Fable. The story takes place within the fictional land of Albion, 500 years after the first game, with players assume the role of a young hero who find themselves destined to stop the actions of a former ruler turned madman from destroying the world. The game features several prominent actors portraying major characters in the game, including Zoe Wanamaker and Stephen Fry. The game's setting takes inspiration from the historical late colonial era in terms of architecture, social quality, and basic firearms such as flintlock pistols. The game made several improvements over its predecessors, updating existing gameplay and offering larger locations to explore in the game. Alongside the main story, players can engage in several side quests and repeatable jobs to earn money and rewards, build a property empire, and customize their characters with various clothing items, hairstyles, tattoos, and makeup. At times, the player also can make decisions on how they act within the world, affecting their character's morality and appearance as a result. New features included to the game involve the opportunity to choose between playing as a male or a female character, a new fast travel system, and a canine companion who can detect treasures and alert the players to nearby enemies. Fable 2 was released in October 2008 and achieved critical acclaim in game reviews, many citing its adherence to the original while praising the changes that redefined the game system. The game later received 2 downloadable content packs, which introduced new locations, items, and quests, which were later released in a compilation with the main game titled Fable 2 Game of the Year in October 2009. The game proved a commercial success, becoming the best-selling title on the Xbox 360 following its release, with the success spawning a sequel, Fable 3, in 2010. Gameplay. The world in Fable 2 is fully dynamic, interacting, and mostly free with no set quest path to take. Since the game takes place over a hero's lifetime, many things can change. Molyneux gave an example of a trade camp that the players could either help or destroy. Trading in such camps would increase their profit, resulting in a small town growing around them. Additionally, every accessible property in the world can be purchased, and ownership of unique buildings can unlock further quests. In addition to purchasing and renting homes, businesses and stalls are now available for purchase. These businesses produce income for the player every 5 minutes, depending on the quality of the business, the economy level of the town, and the opinion of the shop owner for the player, and the rent or goods prices set by the player. This happens even while the Xbox 360 is turned off. Rent is also accumulated every 5 minutes. Also, if the player visits his own shops, the quality of their goods will improve, and improve the quality of the shop. Players are able to furnish the houses with furniture and other items available for sale. In addition, titles will be rewarded for buying property. If one were to buy every building and every piece of land in a town, he or she may become the mayor of that town. Owning more land leads to higher titles such as king or queen, and eventually Emperor of entire land of Albion. Players can become more pure by setting prices at rent low, and more corrupt by increasing them. The environment in Fable 2 features trees with branches and leaves that are individually animated according to their own physics, each tree having roughly 100,000 leaves. There are also around 15 million poppies in Albion. There are both interactive and non-interactive cutscenes in the game. According to Lionhead Studios, the non-interactive cutscenes consume less than 5 minutes of game time. In the fully interactive cutscenes, a player can use their expressions during the dialogue or even run away from the scene, thus skipping it. Afterward, the player can return to the cutscene location to start it again. If the player runs away from a cutscene which contains information, the character will wait the player's return. The player's companion is a dog, which the player befriends as a child. This dog follows the players almost all of the time during the game. The dog can learn tricks, fight enemies, and find treasure, and lead the way to quest objectives. Typically, the player is led to objectives via a sparkling gold breadcrumb trail. It can also aid in combat situations by attacking downed enemies. The dog cannot be killed, but can become injured and ineffective, requiring healing by the player. The appearance of their dog will also mirror the player's choices and change its color depending on the player's alignment. If the player is neutral, it will remain gray. By being good, will turn the dog's coat to golden, and evil will turn it to black. There are no other animals in the game, save for neutral rabbits and birds, a fact commented on by one NPC who notices the oddness of carriages with no horses. In the downloadable content, quote, see the future, unquote, it is possible to change the dog's breed with potions. The three choices are Dalmatian, Bloodhound, and Husky. Family and relationships. In Fable 2, it is possible for the player's character to get married, including same-sex marriage, and have children. Divorce with the player's spouse can occur and can be initiated by either the spouse or the player themselves. As with a real family, time spent around and interacting with them will keep the bond between them strong and reduce the chance of them leaving. It is possible to become widowed, though, through the death of a partner. It is also possible for the player's character's children to die through caught death or disease, or to run away from home to become an adventurer, in which case the player can rescue them from danger. The relationships, as in the original Fable, are initiated by flirting, gift-giving, and the common expression. By performing a potential mate's favorite expression or giving them their preferred gifts, they will become infatuated more easily. Beyond a certain level of interest or payment in the case of prostitute characters, a character may proposition the player for sex. Unprotected sex may lead to birth of a child, but can also lead to sexually transmitted disease. This does affect the player, as it may lead to sterilization. If the player has purchased or found a condom, they will have the option of protected sex. No sex is actually shown. The screen is black when the option is selected. Character morphing. Fable 2 enhances the system of morphing one's character based on their actions as introduced in Fable. Character morphing revolves around two major alignment scales, good and evil, and purity and corruption. Good players will enable a pleasant-looking hero with tan skin, light hair, while evil players will have a more frightening look with pale skin and black hair. Pure players will find that their hero will have a clear complexion and a halo, while corrupt players will find their hero with flawed complexion and horns. These scales are independent of one another, meaning that it is possible to be both good and corrupt simultaneously, or any other variation. Also related to character morphing is the character's slimness or fatness, determined by what foods the player eats. Fruits and vegetables make the player thinner, while alcohol, meat, and pies make the player fatter. In addition, fruits and vegetables give the player purity points, while meats and alcohol give the player corruption points. This has no effect on gameplay other than attractiveness or the lack thereof in the eyes of NPCs. Leveling up stats will also alter the player's character appearance. Increasing the physique level will make the hero more muscular. Increasing the skill stat will make the hero taller. A high level of willpower and spells create glowing blue markings called will lines all over the body. Jobs. Unlike Fable, the player does not acquire money through doing quests, but by doing jobs around Albion. These are blacksmith, woodcutter, bartender, assassin, civilian displacement, bounty hunter, and merchant. The first three involve correctly pressing the A button during certain times, and the latter three are combat related. Merchant, however, is done by taking advantage of the economies of each town, buying low and selling to richer vendors for a profit. The jobs become available depending on how much renown the player has and story progression. The trade skill jobs can be done over and over again for a certain number of days, but the side quest jobs are single use, requiring the player to wait for another task to become available. The trade skill can be leveled up to 5 stars via promotions, allowing for more money to be made. Recreation. Exploration plays a primary role in the game. As in the original Fable, gameplay is very linear. However, main story advancing missions may be performed whenever the player chooses, and there are additional missions that do not affect the storyline. The player may also choose to perform any of the many different jobs, gambling-based minigames, participating in the arena-style minigame called the Crucible, exploring dungeons, tombs and caves, or roam the countryside. The player may even choose to kill innocents in town. All these optional diversions can result in rewards for the player in the form of additional wealth, items, experience points, or character-altering attributes. Exploration is essential to discovering much of the game's hidden content in the form of 50 silver keys, special treasure chests, 9 demon doors, and 50 gargoyles that can be destroyed. Cooperative play. Players are able to drop in and out of other players' games at will. The host player can set certain rules. For example, how loot gained is split between the players and if friendly fire is active. The joining player cannot load their custom hero. They must select a pre-made male or female character. This, quote, henchman, unquote, cannot buy property or gamble in their friend's world, nor can he or she accept quests. Co-op can be achieved through Xbox Live, System Link, and by playing on a single console. Fable 2 did not ship with online cooperative, but a free patch has been available from the Xbox Live since the European and American release date, which adds this functionality. Without the patch, players cannot play online due to being disconnected from Xbox Live. At E3 2008 in July, lead designer Peter Molyneux demonstrated, quote, Albion orbs, unquote. These orbs show where other players are in their worlds and allows bringing them into their world to co-op with them. Only orbs for friends are initially viewable. with all players viewable if an in-game setting is changed. Online chat is automatically enabled between players that can see each other's orbs. While on the same console, a second player with their own account can drop in and out as a henchman to the first player. If the second player on the same console does not have an account of their own, the henchman is made in a brief character creation screen that pauses the game. The henchmen created this way are not saved into the main player's game. The first player also decides how much bounty the henchman will obtain. For example, gold and experience. The second player is also able to port any experience, renown, and gold to their own Fable 2 hero via memory card if they have imported a character and not created a henchman from scratch. Also, it is possible to use a profile on the Xbox 360 itself to create a henchman, the earned gold and experience being transferred there. Setting. Fable 2 takes place within the fictional land of Albion, a large continent composed of forests, coastal roadways, a large forest, marshlands, and several settlements. The main settlement of the land is Bowerstone, a large city composed of shops and houses, a large graveyard, and a large castle where its ruler resides. The story and events take place 500 years after the first game, in which the relative safety and peace brought about by the defeat of Jack of Blades led to Albion citizens deeming heroes to be corrupt and no longer being needed, effectively leading to many to disappear and the Heroes Guild being destroyed in a riot. Since then, the land has seen changes to science and philosophy, with new religions replacing the old ones of medieval Albion, and new technologies being developed, including the creation of firearms. In effect, Albion has now evolved into a society resembling that of Earth during the late colonial and early modern period. The game's story encompasses 3 different time periods of the player's character: childhood, which acts as a prologue and training section of the game, young adulthood, and adulthood. The player's character begins the game with the nickname of Sparrow, but can acquire additional nicknames to be called under. As the player progresses the story, new quests and new areas to explore become available, including those within the game, 2 main downloadable content packs, while certain decisions in specific quests during the first 2 periods effectively deciding how certain regions change and develop. Plot. During a cold winter in Bowerstone, a young child, Sparrow, lives in poverty within the city's poor district alongside their older sister, Rose. Both dreams of one day living in Castle Fairfax, the home of Lord Lucian that towers over the city. One day, the pair witness a traveling seller offering magical wares to people. Amongst them is a musical box that can grant anyone who uses it a wish. An old woman convinces the pair to acquire the money needed to buy it by doing odd jobs around the district, during which time Sparrow rescues a dog from a local bully. Upon buying the box, Rose uses it to make the dream come true. That evening, guards arrive to bring the pair to the castle, who are overjoyed that their wish came true. However, the pair soon discover that Lucian brought them to his home to determine which of them were the 3 heroes he seeks to fulfill his ambitions. Discovering that one of the pair is the 4th hero who will stop him, Lucian kills Rose and wounds Sparrow, sending them out into the city streets. The old woman soon finds the boy with the help of the dog that they rescued, and takes them away from the city to recover. 10 years later, and now a young adult, the old woman instructs them to enter a cave system beneath the large lake, which houses the ruins of what was left of the Heroes Guild. Once inside, the old woman introduces herself as Teresa, a blind series, who explains that Sparrow is a descendant of the hero of Oakvale who defeated Jack of Blades. After they prove themselves by defeating a prominent bandit leader in the region, Teresa reveals that they are the only ones who can stop Lucien from destroying the world with an ancient structure known as the Spire, a building that channels magical energy to grant its users any wish they desire. Teresa reveals that Sparrow is destined to defeat Lucien by finding the three heroes he seeks, each defining a specific parameter: strength, will, and skill. Sparrow begins with finding the hero of strength from the village of Oakfield, discovering them to be a female monk known as Sister Hannah. They work to prove themselves to her father, the local abbot, before providing her with protection as she undertakes an important ritual. However, Lucien sends men to find her, who kill her father when he refuses to let them to take her angered. Hannah kills her murderer before offering her help to Sparrow, renaming herself as Hammer. With her help, Sparrow proceeds with tracking down Hero of Will, a scholar known as Garth, who worked with Lucien to rebuild the Spire, but fell out with him over time. Lucien kidnaps him before he can be recruited, to which Teresa reveals that he was taken to the Spire as a prisoner. Sparrow and Hammer head to Westcliff, where Lucien is recruiting new guards from competitors that survived several harsh rounds at local arena. Successfully winning a place amongst the latest recruits, Sparrow leaves their possessions and dog with Hammer and travel to the Spire to find Garth. Made a slave in their new role, Sparrow endures 10 years of slavery, making a number of tough decisions in the process. Eventually, Garth creates an opportunity for the pair to escape from the Spire and return to the mainland, where he agrees to help in the battle against Lucien. Hammer soon reveals that during Sparrow's absence, she sought out information on the Hero of Skill, discovering it to be a pirate lord known as Reaver, a skilled marksman who rules the pirate town of Bloodstone in the south. With Garth's help, Sparrow uses Cullis Gate, a teleportation system used by the Heroes Guild, to reach the marshlands that border Bloodstone, dealing with the undead in the process. After impressing Reaver with their fame, Sparrow undertakes a request from them, only for him to attempt to betray them to Lucien to claim the bounty on them. However, Reaver is soon double-crossed himself and finds himself forced to help Sparrow and other heroes in order to survive. With the three heroes found, Teresa reveals that all of them need to channel their energy in a ritual to acquire a weapon needed to defeat Lucien. However, the series soon goes missing after the ritual is completed, whereupon Lucien arrives and kills their dog before kidnapping the others. Rather than die, Sparrow is taken to them like a paradise to reside within as a child, with Rose alive and well. Although the location is peaceful, Sparrow hears a music box playing and, against Rose's advice, seeks it out, fighting against the ensuing nightmares to locate it. Upon touching it, Rose reveals it was a test, allowing him to use his power. Finding themselves back in the Spire, Sparrow tracks down Lucien and uses the music box to defeat him, whereupon he dies at their hands or Reaver's. Teresa soon offers Sparrow a wish from the Spire that they can have as a reward, resurrecting the thousands of people that died building the Spire and thus becoming a true hero in Albion, resurrecting their sister Rose, their dog, and if they had one, their spouse and family, or being granted an immense fortune. After making their wish, Teresa then offers to send the others where they wish to go. Garth opts to return to his homeland, with Reaver deciding to join him, while Hammer decides to head north to find some monks to help her avoid further violence. And after they leave, Teresa leaves Sparrow to enjoy Albion, but proclaims that the Spire is now hers to own, If the player has downloaded the See the Future pack, Teresa allows them to visit after cleansing 2 cursed items to see a glimpse of their future, where they now rule over Albion as a monarch, and hinting that a child of theirs will become a hero to save Albion after their death, setting the background for Fable 3. Marketing. Tales of Albion. Lionhead Studios released a section on their website entitled Tales of Albion, which provides a backstory to Fable, Fable the Lost Chapters, and Fable 2. In Fragments of the Old Kingdom, it details how the Archon came to power in Albion, and how the Heroes Guild was founded. Tales also chronicles the end of the heroes and ruin of their guild in Fall of the Heroes, and travels in today's Albion, describes where some players are, and has a little description of each notable area or artifact. Online competitions. Just as Lionhead has done with the movies, online competitions were made available throughout Lionhead forums. One such competition was naming the title to be used in the game, similar to the first game wherein a character was addressed by various titles that the character purchased from the title vendor. Lionhead has stated that these titles will be bought, but they have to be earned first. They are bought from a town crier in Fable 2. The winning title was Lionheart, which can be bought for 2,000 gold or earned for free by winning in the Crucible. An Insult the Hero competition also took place, and the winner was announced. On May 30th, Lionhead held a competition for artwork that will be used in the game. There has been no winner announced to date. Diaries. 2007. On May 24th, Episode 1 of the Lionhead Diaries, examining the love and emotion aspect of Fable 2, was released. On July 30th, Episode 2 was released, highlighting the one button in the combat system, and featured the Lionhead staff playing a game of football against fellow Microsoft satellite Rare and winning. It also included a professional combat specialist instructing the animation staff. October 8th, Episode 3 was released, going in-depth about Central Technology Group and featured Lionhead's 10-year anniversary. January 11th, Episode 4 was released, focusing on how the graphics department made the world of Albion. March 19th, Episode 5 was released, looking at Magic, GDC 2008, and co-op. June 22nd, Episode 6, Art and the Hero, was released, looking at the artwork of the hero, Albion, and many different characters in Fable 2. October 2nd, Episode 7, Music and Audio, was released, showing how and where the main scores were made, where the voiceovers were recorded, and taking a brief glimpse at the various voice talents for the game. 2009. January 8th, Episode 8, Fishing, Fable 2, and Creating Knothole Island, was released, detailing the Lionhead's team euphoria over having finally completed Fable 2, and giving a brief look at how Knothole Island was made and why it didn't ship out in December 2008. In May, Episode 9, See the Future, came. Fable 2 Pub Games. In August 2008, Lionhead Studios released Fable 2 Pub Games. This includes 3 of the games that can be played in pubs throughout Albion: Fortune's Tower, Keystone, and Spinnerbox. For 800 Microsoft points, all 3 games could be downloaded on the Xbox Live Marketplace. Alternatively, some video game trailers offered a product code where a pre-order for Fable 2 was made. Limited Edition. Before the game was released, there was a production problem resulting in the Hop figurine, special box, and fate cards being removed from the collector's edition package. Due to the loss of these items, the suggested retail price was decreased to the normal game price in some stores. As an apology, Lionhead Studios created a free music album available for download over the internet. That contains several songs from Fable and 3 songs from Fable 2, as well as printable PDF versions of Fate cards to be released. There was another supply chain issue that occurred in North America that caused some limited edition games not to have the token card for in-game content. A limited edition was available on its release date with the following extra feature. Alternative packaging included cardboard slipcover, one token card for in-game content, bonus disc containing the Making of Fable 2. There was also a second European release of the limited edition game, which featured the extra features minus the token card for downloadable content. Downloadable content. The first downloadable content, or DLC, Untitled Island, includes the ability to resurrect the player's dog by sacrifice. It was released 13th January 2009 and features a new map with new items and quests. The DLC includes 3 new achievements worth 100 points. A free update allows players who haven't purchased Untitled Island to still play online with others who did. Untitled Island was available for 800 Microsoft points. The DLC got positive to average reviews. It holds a score of 66 out of 100 on Metacritic. Dan Whitehead of Eurogamer awarded it a score of 6 out of 10, while Tom Orey of Videogamer.com awarded a score of 7 out of 10, saying that, quote, Untitled Island is a good effort but far from the standard the full game set, unquote. The second DLC, See the Future, includes the ability to change the player's dog breed. It was released May 12, 2009. The DLC includes a quest based around 3 cursed items from Murgo the Trader. In addition to these new quests and items, one new area is included and players have the ability to change the breed of their dog as well as the ability to get their dog back if a player chose not to resurrect their dog at the end of the main storyline. The DLC includes 13 new achievements worth 250 points. It was available for 560 Microsoft points. The DLC was set with positive criticism. See the Future should be an essential purchase for Fable fans. It doesn't change things enough to win over anyone who didn't enjoy the main game, but as an expansion it extends the game in ways that are certainly worth experiencing. As of September 2009, the entire Fable 2 game was available for download through Microsoft Xbox Live Game Marketplace. When first released, the downloadable version of the game was broken up into 5 game episodes that play identical to the disc version of the game, and the first episode of the game was free to download, while episodes 2, 3, 4, and 5 could be purchased within the game. Any player who purchased the disc version after the first episode can transfer all save data. Currently, only the entire game can be purchased and episode 1 is no longer available as a demo. The downloadable version featured the complete version of the disc-based game, as well as full compatibility with the previously released game add-ons, Untitled Island and See the Future. A compilation of the Fable 2 disc with all the downloadable content was made available in Europe, sold as Fable 2 Game of the Year Edition. In September 2009, the Game of the Year Edition was made available in North America using Platinum Hits branding in January of 2010. Critical reception. Fable 2 received very positive reviews from both audiences and critics. Eurogamer welcomed the breadcrumb trail feature in the game. Quote, as leads you ever onward to your next objective, but even though you can't get lost, it still allows for deep exploration, unquote. OXM lauded the game as, quote, probably the most consistent sequel ever made and suggested combat is, quote, great when you're winning and nothing but irritating when you're losing, unquote. Edge ranked the game number 52 on its list of top 100 best games to play today, stating that, quote, with a quest that tugs you through the plot and a bucolic paradise rips for exploration. Never before has so much work been put into making sure the humble player feels special, unquote. People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, or PETA, praised Fable 2 for its animal nature, giving it the Poggy Award for the most animal-friendly game of 2008, saying they enjoyed the game's pro-vegetarianism, giving the player purity points for eating non-meat products and corruption points for eating meat. However, there are also achievements encouraging players to hurt particular animals. Sales. According to NPD, the game attained the status of best-selling title in the United States across all platforms for its debut month of October 2008, with 790,000 copies sold. Such sales volumes occurred despite the game's release on October 24th, consequently allowing them 9 days of sales before the end of the month. The game received a Platinum Sales Award from the Entertainment and Leisure Software Publisher Association, or ELSPA, indicating sales at least of 300,000 copies in the United Kingdom. Fable 2 was a success, and with approximately 3.5 million copies sold as of March 11, 2010, it is the best-selling RPG title for the Xbox 360. Awards. IGN Best of 2008, Best Original Score for the Xbox 360, X-Play's Best Game of 2008 Award, Joysticks Best Game of 2008 Award, Best Action and Adventure Game of 2008 by British Academy Video Game Awards. In 2010, the game was included as one of the titles in the book 1001 Video Games You Must Play Before You Die. Technical issues. A number of users writing on the Fable 2 message board have experienced technical issues with the game. The most notable were the freezing, progression bugs, and incompatibility with standard definition television screens. Sequel. Fable 3 was released on Xbox 360 in October 2010 and Microsoft Windows in May 2011. Alright guys, that will be it for now. I do hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day or an amazing sleep if you're sleeping to the sound of my angelic voice. I do hope, again, you guys have a good day and a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.